What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel. If you're watching live, watching back, or listening to the podcast, just appreciate you for making us a part of your day. Again, my name's Mike Singer. I run the YouTube and recruiting operation at Blue and Gold. And next to me on the screen is Tim Hyde, former high school head coach and a junior college coach out in California for, what did he say, decades, Tim? How long did you coach? Out there.
Yes. Long
decades.
Time.
Okay.
That's why you get gray hair when you deal with teens and people in their early 20s.
And me, right?
Yeah, not so much.
Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel, of course, for more content. We're going back-to-back weeks of talking about the quarterbacks. Last week was a case for, case against. If you missed it, it was a really good show. I thought Tim really nailed it. This week, Tim, I perused Twitter, and I still refuse to call it X, and I got some film of some of the three guys, some more than others, and just hoping that we don't get the strike from YouTube on this. So for the folks who are like, Mike, can you please make the video bigger? I can't see it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to avoid a copyright strike from YouTube. So, just gotta zoom in, put us on the big screen, do something. You just gotta bear with me on it. All right. That's how we get to do this. I gotta do it like that. So, but Tim, before we dive into that, you had a good old little tinfoil hat kind of thing here. Shout out to Captain Goolsby. Notre Dame put out this tweet yesterday morning. Iron sharpens iron, and you have several Notre Dame players pictured. Is this the new? This is Jared Dawson, right? The new Louisville defensive lineman that came over, I think.
Yes. That's what you call a squat body right there. That's an A gap football player.
So you got Jalen Sneed looks to have bulked up. I saw my buddy Matt Freeman tweeted out he's like 235 now. So Jalen Sneed's bulked up. But you really wanted to talk about
real quick on Sneed. It's like he came in like 198 pounds, or that was Logan Thomas. So Sneed was 202. He wasn't too much bigger than Logan Thomas. And my God, that guy is enjoying the heck out of some snatches and some squats. He is building up his legs. So you got to remember, he's going into year 4. I saw this picture. It keeps feeling like Sneed is this new guy. He's going into his 4th football season. So talk about developing and just keep getting better each and every year.
Yeah, it still seems like he hasn't, maybe he started to scratch the surface of what he can be, but there's just still such raw potential there. And what a big season ahead for Jalen Sneed. But you sent me this tweet, and you're like, I really want to talk about these two guys. You got Ashton Craig back working out, great to see, and Gerby Lambert. So what are your thoughts on these two being pictured here, Mr. Hyde?
Well, the first one is with Ashton. Just seeing him when he popped in that picture was just number one. Prowlers, those sleds right there. Prowlers, the greatest workout thing in the history of man. So those are, if you've never pushed those, go spend a couple $100 and go run up and down the hills with those bad boys.
No, awesome. Don't, because then you'll have to sell it on Facebook Marketplace and you won't make your money. You won't keep it.
Oh man, a few spots I've coached at, they didn't have these. And I said, can we just get these? The AD said, yeah, sure. Kids hate them, and that means they're good. But they're the best. Those are the best 5:30 a.m. workout things right there. But no, I mean, number one, it's just great to see Ashton Craig. Obviously, the guy had a major knee injury there in Game 3 against the Boilermakers, and here he is pushing sleds in the indoor facility, getting ready for spring ball, which I'm sure he's going to be limited and things of that, which is fine. It's totally fine. But seeing him working out is awesome because, as I keep saying, who the heck is taking a snap? Who's snapping the ball, on that first practice here in March? Because it won't be him. So that's going to be interesting to see who it is. And then obviously the cover photo. That's what is like, the cover photo for this whole tweet was Mr. Lambert. So it looks like he hasn't missed too many workouts or those free steak dinners at Notre Dame, so he's looking great. No, this was just I saw this picture, I got hyped. I'm like, come on, got a 5-star offensive lineman just throwing up weight. He loves the classroom because Harvard wanted him, so he's just enjoying life in South Bend. It was nice, and then the little tinfoil hat is how do you put him in the group, right? You put the Louisville transfer because he's going to play. Snead just keeps developing. Craig, hey, we're showing Notre Dame Nation. We got a little bit of our starting center's coming back. He's out here working. And then when you get into Gerby, you're like, your best 5. Where's he going to land, right? Where's he going to land?
Yeah, when you texted me though, you were kind of like, are they picturing these guys to tell us something?
Oh, exactly. I mean, it could be some 19-year-old, getting out of his literature class, and he just put it together. So we're probably overreading into everything, but usually not. So who knows? No, that's it. You should see one of the most talked about players a year ago. Obviously, Notre Dame, lost some offensive linemen to the portal. Young Gerby and some of these young guys are coming up. So Wagner's returning. Does Knapp start off back at left tackle? He's got 15 starts under his belt. So is Gerby. It's just fascinating because there's just a handful of bodies. That's the thing, a handful of bodies. And where does he go? And if he's a starter, he'll be starting against Miami. 0 starts. Who's he next to? Who's he playing around? So long way to go. Long way to go.
Yeah.
But exciting.
I mean, Notre Dame trotted out a left tackle who was supposed to be a guard against A&M on the road and Knapp. That you can't get more like in a tough spot at A&M at left tackle as a true freshman. So, yeah.
And a quick Tim Hyde 32 on that, 32 seconds on that is, you hear all these people like, well, Knapp's got to sit. Well, how the heck do you replace 1,000 snaps? The guy took 900 snaps, 15 starts. Like you're saying, he played at A&M. He played Louisville and their NFL D linemen. These guys, he played all the way through until, basically halftime of the Penn State game. So it's hard to sit experience, especially young experience. Rocco and Coogan going into year 5, Zeke Correll a year earlier going into a 6th year. Okay, you can see some of those, but how do you sit a true sophomore with 15 snaps and 9 or 15 starts? Right? So that's he's going to be one of the 5. I'm totally predicting that.
So just popped on Augie's Locker Room's website to talk about, and I don't even think I need to scroll past him this first 4 items here. 2012 authentic Notre Dame football full-size Shamrock Series helmet. Does it tell you who wore it? I would love to know. This helmet is not team issue / game used. It does not have the interior pads. One side of the helmet is chrome, the other side blue. The style was worn in 2012 versus Miami at Soldier Field, but it is an authentic. You can call Augie for more information on that. But
by the way, who was the head coach at Miami when Notre Dame destroyed them? What was it, 41-3? Who was that elite defensive head coach for Miami? Do you know? Was that Al Golden? Yes, it was. So I'm just joking there.
Unique Notre Dame hockey. Unique Notre Dame hockey tournament trophy. Yeah, I wasn't sure where you're going with that, Tim. Authentic Notre Dame football stadium brick and a rare Notre Dame and St. Mary's music sheet. I'm telling you, folks, if you want unique, one-of-a-kind Notre Dame memorabilia, Augie's Locker Room is the place to go. Go to augieslockerroom.com for the online shop, or if you're in town, make sure you stop by 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend, just down the street from Notre Dame. You guys know it. I don't even need to go through it all, but I can. You got the Notre Dame Stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, one-of-a-kind Rockney items, exclusive Joe Montana signed items, famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues around the stadium. How about a Notre Dame football mini helmet signed Ben Morrison? I mean, that's the same gold helmet that I have in my setup right here, which I love. And there's a mini one signed by Ben Morrison. I'm telling you, folks, augieslockerroom.com com 574-277-6363. Tell him Mike Singer from Blue and Gold sent you. Augie, if you're watching, hope you are doing well, my friend. Okay. Tim, shall we go to a little quarterback discussion? All right. So this is titled Film Analysis of the Irish Quarterbacks. Who should start week 1 versus Miami?
That's a title. I like it.
So we'll go through it. And I guess, Tim, I'll ask you, who should start week 1 versus Miami? Last week, you did say you thought it would be Steve. We'll see who should start.
Just go with the true freshman. Just go with Blake. Let him get his 4 years under the belt and go, right? No, I mean, you can't sit here. You can't sit here and make a prediction because we have no clue. I mean,
I have a clue, damn it.
Yeah, you're just throwing spaghetti noodles against the wall and seeing what sticks, so to speak. So Angeli's elite experience against Oregon State in those high intensity 19 throws in the Sun Bowl. I know so many people love the Sun Bowl. Beautiful El Paso, to the young lad who's always watching our show. Shout out to El Paso, the Sun Bowl. But Minchey and Goolsby always hyping up the spring ball where he scrambles for a 10-yard run because there's no one covering him and no contain. So I guess we buy that hype. Or do you do Carr, who the conspiracy theories is a media individual that the media props up all the time because he's just Lloyd Carr's grandson, right?
So you want none of them?
So my philosophy, the more I think about this, the more it's like, going back, someone just posted the Start the Thread, which is just always a fascinating take of, we'll start Angeli and then bring in someone after he gets a few starts. Well, don't you want to play your best guy? I don't understand that thinking to me. Play Angeli, he's taking some snaps, and then put Carr in game 4. Well, don't you want your best guy getting the reps early, just playing your best guy, right? So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be CJ Carr.
Week 1?
I think after spring and after summer workouts and August, barring obviously any crazy injury and everything. So I think CJ Carr is going to win the thing.
Wow.
After just rewatching high school film, watching them throwing, running, things at Notre Dame. Yeah, I'm gonna go CJ. I'll put $2 on CJ.
Okay.
Put that on our Mike Singer FanDuel pool we got going
on. Well, let's start with some Kenny tape.
Okay.
Let's see. There we go. I don't have a ton on Kenny. Just from what was out there on social media, this was a little throw to Jaden Greathouse.
Yeah, and this is why I highly recommend just going back and watch, rewatch comparable film. If you're watching some Kenny senior film, watch CJ Carr senior film. See how they are comparable in their same year of development. Yeah, going back to last week, man, Kenny throws beautiful passes. You rewatch his high school football film, the guy could throw.
I hear very good things about the ball that Kenny Minchey throws. Like, he really impresses a lot of people.
It's got
in South
a lot
Bend.
more. Yeah, it's got a lot more zip than you think. Because going back to Kenny's not being mentioned a ton. Kenny hasn't been mentioned a ton in the press. You got the leaks that come out. It's it's always about CJ. Is that throwing a left curveball from the from the media from the leaks that come out of the goo.
What are these leaks? Like, what are people saying? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. Like,
well, I mean, you read most of the media, which is out there. It's all on CJ. The money.
I would love to see specific things about people saying they're thinking that CJ is going to start week 1. I'm genuinely like, because I don't really read other sites. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, whatever's out there. Even national guys mention CJ Carr, and you've been on some of the national post, podcasts. So with the national guys are mentioning them, obviously that's coming from somewhere, unless they're just calling Mike Singer, and Mike Singer's leaking it out to whatever you're hearing. Who knows, right? It's a small world out there. But I just keep going back to who's ever playing in 2025. You do have young quarterbacks. I mean, Angeli redshirted in 22, even as the backup. So he has a red shirt, correct?
Yeah.
He did redshirt. Yeah. So he has 2 full years.
He's got 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got 2 full years. So you got to look at this as a 2-year project. I don't, unless something crazy and they go out and they go 6-6 and the starting quarterback throws 22 picks and it's just absolutely a train wreck. But no one's expecting that, or should we? That's why I'm thinking this is a 2-year process minimum. So if it's Angeli for 2 years, unless the other guys are chill, right, and they're cool being the backup and buying their time, and and see what happens.
Yeah,
there.
If that were to happen, and the other guys leave, okay, it's fine. Because if Steve starts for 2 years, then and he doesn't get benched or something, then he's playing well. Like, they feel comfortable with him, and then by then Hebert is a junior, right? Grubbs is a sophomore, could bring in a transfer, like, because then it's Freeman hasn't done. At least Freeman did a homegrown guy, so he kind of has the all I do is take transfer portal quarterbacks off my back. He got that monkey off his back, so you can go back to the portal. Fine with me.
That would be
either way.
Exactly, and Steve's the ultimate homegrown guy, right? You got Reese OC, Parker OC, Denbrock OC. Look at all these bodies, all these coaches that he's been around. Yeah, Angeli would be the ultimate.
Let's get back to our regular scheduled program. This was one of Kenny Minchey's this is like his highlight of his Notre Dame career. Well, we have his touchdown run here in a bit, but this was great time to throw, but or a lot of time to throw, but just drops a dime there. Is that Micah Gilbert?
Micah Gilbert, yeah, we didn't see him the rest of the year. So
okay, Tim, let's talk about Kenny Minchey here for control.
Yeah. Throw into Micah. There we go. Who did he beat there? No, but Minchey's fine. Minchey's fine. I mean, once again, it's a beautiful pass.
Did we not talk about that? This is what we wanted to do. Do you want to talk about something else, Tim?
I'm just checking out other bodies as I'm watching this from last spring. So, no, he's beautiful pass there. I told you the best pass out there is the slant he throws on the right hash that bounces right off the dude's chest. Beautiful.
Yeah, don't have that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then a little rushing touchdown. Design keeper gets in.
Yeah, this QB, the QB sweep right there is awesome. A little pin and pull action right there. Was that Charles out there blocking?
Nice follow. Yes. Oh, yeah, that was a hell of a block. Spindler's there. Got Jabron Payne's leading the way.
Yeah, that's just a pin and pull. Yeah, there you go. QB run. And these are things obviously Kenny could do. Kenny, I'm telling you guys, I know we all, sleep on Kenny. He doesn't get mentioned enough. You just go back and rewatch some of his film. And I went and rewatched our video a week ago that you and I did when he committed, just to see what we said and see what his highlights were back in the day. And he was darn good. And we got to remember, when he went to the Elite 11, he won the accuracy competition. That's what it was. He won the accuracy competition that day at the Elite 11. So he won that one. This past year, I think that was Russell, the dude going to Alabama, won it, if I remember right. So Julie Insane won it 2 years ago. But yeah, Minchey. Super talent. Once again, you could do things with him. He's got a lively arm. He's got some legs that definitely have been developed here over the last few years. Smoothness, pocket. It's got a great base. Go back to his height. Whoever his quarterback coach was did a great job with him in high school.
Yeah, he's a QB country guy. He's true.
Yeah, really nice base when he throws. Going back, like I said, and then nice release. I love the way he holds the ball up. He's fun to go back and rewatch. So I know the Minchey fans that are out there pulling for him, totally warranted because he's got a ton of talent.
Yeah. Yeah, this is him working with QB country here. A little rolling right, throwing back to his left. I'm telling you, the kid throws.
That's a laser.
Yeah, he throws with the best of them. All three of them, just throw really, really pretty balls from. I mean, what you would expect. You're vying for Notre Dame's QB1 spot, of course, but that is something that I hear from a lot of sources. Is man, these guys all really can spin it.
But Mike, I mean, even that right there. I know Riley Leonard was just at the combine and everything, but these guys all throw the ball better than Riley Leonard.
Yes, from a pure passing standpoint.
Pure
Great point. Yeah, they all do.
Yeah, passing, delivery, accuracy, getting the ball on the money. I know Riley Leonard had a lot of hype this weekend, but then you watch his highlights and I thought the wide receivers made better catches than he did throws.
It's on the to-do list. I think we're going to breeze through this. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll look at that at the end of the show, Tim.
All right.
So we'll talk about that. I'm looking forward to that because I watched it and it's same thoughts. Like, man, Leonard's delivery is not the prettiest at all. But again, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's Kenny. I don't have a ton on Kenny, and I didn't spend all day researching this stuff.
Like I was telling people, just go back, rewatch his huddle. It's fun to watch.
Yeah. Like you mentioned last week, he was the highest ranked by on 3. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yes, Steve was what, 47th. We had just gotten to on 3, right?
Yes.
He would have signed and we were still at Rivals. So yeah, I was not thrilled about that, but
there's a pattern though, Mike. You got Kenny at 16, throw him out. Carr 17, Grubbs 27, Hebert 37, Angeli 47. So Charles Powers loving the 7s. He's rolling the dice with the 7s with the Notre Dame quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm sure he's doing that on purpose. All right, so let's move to CJ. A spring ball touchdown to CJ Carr. CJ Carr to Kenny Minchey.
Look at that.
Come on, Singer. CJ Carr to Micah Gilbert. Okay. Now, is the coverage a little suspect? Is it fourth quarter of the blue gold game? Yes. But still, CJ Carr demonstrating, throw a nice little ball.
Exactly. You're just watching the ball, watching the mechanics. No, that's all I'm watching when I watch these things. It's just, what does he look like? What's he doing? Not too worried about the guys he's throwing with or against. Just watching him as the individual.
Yeah. And, got to see him throw for the first time in the postseason. The media did since fall camp. So, there's a lot of eyes on CJ, leading up to those games because it's like, how does he look throwing the football? Because, the whole elbow mystery, but he did seem to throw the ball around pretty good. Now, my buddy Kyle Kelly, his tweet was like, what do you say? This is from December 30th. First time I've seen CJ Carr throw up close in about 15 weeks. Velocity looks just the same as it did before. Now, that's not to say this video is what he got that conclusion from, because he's throwing 10 yards to a GA, but you got to see 15 minutes or so practice, so it's something for those concerned about the health. Like, he does seem to be throwing fine. I don't know about how far he can throw it, or if that's affecting his elbow, but I was told he's fine, but just I don't believe it till I see it. But anyways, Tim, that's surprisingly all I thought I had one more from C. Oh, I do. I've got a full minute on CJ actually. So here we go. So Tim, you can just kind of talk about this one. This is from his spring game. It's like a minute. I think this is all of his clips from the spring game.
Yeah, look at that on the run. Nice little dart out there to the out. Quick little curl route right there to Mitchell. Yeah, that's a nice footwork. Once again, just knowing what he's looking for.
Yeah. Little escapability.
A little indecisive, but he twirls out of it. Yeah, he wanted to throw the hitch, man. Just throw the hitch. Just throw it. It's right there. Trust it.
This was a great ball. It's probably his best ball.
See, I'm an out guy. I love when I watch quarterbacks, man. Can you throw an out route? Those deep. But look at that on the rewind that if you can. That was just 1 foot, little roll. He wants to throw the boot. Yeah, nice. That's the out. Yeah, the out. See, I'm an out route, but right here, scramble, throw on that right foot. Good little spot right there. Guy drops it, but oh well. He wants to throw the boot, tuck it and run. Yeah, it's spring game. He's just trying to stay alive.
Sorry, podcast audience. Watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, that was a nice ball. Like AK didn't get it. Hit him on the outside shoulder there.
Yeah, it was a good ball.
Yeah, little curl. Just going back to his,
true freshman.
There's the dime right in between those two guys right there. Beautiful pass. I just
Yeah,
keep going back to his high school film, man. The guy could throw. He could throw it. Out of all the quarterbacks Notre Dame's had the last decade, let's say, he's in the upper echelon of just pure quarterback ability. And it goes back to, what does Notre Dame want to do? So, they're obviously Denbrock wants to be more spread, more 11 personnel, more, spread guys out, which he's done in the past, less 12, which they did this past year. They didn't run as much 12 personnel because they did have better wide receivers. Mayer, when he got all the balls, he was the wide receiver. So obviously they're phasing away from that. So they want to do a straight, more of a pure pocket, throw the ball, make the secondary back up so they can run the ball because of the threat of the pass. It's all those things they got to figure out this spring what they want to do. With the offense. Obviously, they got running backs they're going to rotate because that's Sider's, bread and butter as well, just like he was at Penn State. That's why, they got to figure it out. But if he's got the best arm, you and I are going to say it every week. We're going to knock on wood. We're going to say don't say it, but we're going to say it. It is the best collection of wide receivers in 5 years. I know, don't say it, Mike. Don't say it, Tim. But it is. It is. And if they all come together, can you finally have a pass attack to make defenses sweat, get extra dudes out of that box so you can run the ball with more consistency and not be worried about things. You got to be able to throw the ball.
All right, we do have a little bit more of old Stevie boy. So this is all of his stuff from the Penn State game. I don't know if like the him getting hit and stuff is in there, but a lot of quick game, which I would expect if Steve is QB1. He's as you talk about Tim, 10 and in, he's
Jack Cohn.
He does really good. Yeah,
he really is. Jack Cohn is extremely accurate. Really, I mean, that pass right there is beautiful. Just 1-2 throw, bam, hit it. Now you just need Jerry Rice to take it 80 like Joe Montana had all those years. That's the key. But look at that 1-2
great
set.
Concept.
And it hits him right in the chest. Boom, right in the numbers, catch and run. Those are things, obviously, we've been talking about for a long time is Notre Dame hasn't had a pass attack where you could just throw and let a guy catch and run. So many catches and tackles, stop routes.
Yeah. It's also, just talk about real quick, got to throw it out there.
Sure.
Look at the setting. Right, look at the little score bug at the bottom. CFP semifinal, Capital One Orange Bowl, minute left in the first half. You're down 10-0. So like that. So as we're talking about some of these things, he's coming off the bench cold. Hasn't started a football game in over a year, and does some of these things. So I think that's worth throwing it out there. As Tyler points out in this tweet, nothing too dazzling, but dazzling's not what the offense needed. They just needed some positive plays and first downs. Yeah,
exactly. They were struggling up to this point. Riley had, they had gone 20 yards to start this drive to get the momentum going. He comes in, gets down there and finished it off. But this obviously, I think the reason why Steve is efficient, comfortable, he's not wet in the bed, as I like to say. He's very, very sure of himself. He knows where to go. What did I talk about last week? He's been the number 2 since the Cal game of 2022. So when you've taken that many reps, all it does is help you. So he was a confident, prepared, or not so much confident, but prepared. He knew the moment. In practice, they're always going to throw backups in when they do 2-minute drills because you just, you never know. I always talk about the belt buckle, right? Your shoelace breaks. Steve, you got to go in there and toss the ball around. And he sure as heck did. They go down there and they get 3 points. Second half's one of the best ones in Notre Dame history.
Yeah. Then another things that Steve's done is like I said, start the game and did the Sun Bowl, and I this might be the only clip of here, but I have. But Oregon State defense losing Jordan Faison, and this going for a big gain down the sideline. Tim, nice ball.
Yeah, the one he throws later in the game is on the money. The little whip route that he throws for the touchdown to Faison was beautifully executed.
I don't know if I have that one.
It was under. I know I said he's very he knows where he wants to throw. When that ball is on a rhythm on those 15 and under type routes where he's reading the coverage, he's trusting his guys break. Steve's damn good, man. That's why I keep going back to Jack Cohn. Once Jack Cohn got in that rhythm in 2021, he was on fire the second half, and he goes on and throws 500 yards in the Fiesta Bowl. So those are things I've always pictured Steve as a Jack Cohn type of RPO, quick read, get the ball out, go let my guys have success.
Yeah. If you have an offensive line that is leaky and your quarterback's being under duress, Steve's not going to be your guy. He's just, or he's going to be most successful in, a sufficient run game at the very least, right? There, and Tim, we just watched that play you're talking about, which he's going to have, and then get some receivers on. But if you give him time to, work, he's definitely going to be able to cook. So
the key, we're going to say it till we're blue in the face, man, is just wide receivers. You got to have some guys that could just catch and run. Got to have some guys to separate, be able to throw. That's why I'm a big out route guy, man. There's not. It's so damn hard to defend those 15-yard out routes.
Yeah, but then
because that corner's going to go, boom, and you hit it. So
people want Buckner highlights. Yeah, I can pull up Buckner highlights of him throwing pick sixes on some out routes and some hitches on the outside. Well, if that's what you want.
He did on the out route. Yeah, he did on the hitch. It was the Marshall. And Vatek.
And I'm thinking South Carolina.
The South Carolina one was a tip where the guy caught it and run. And then they tried
to have one on the outside.
Yeah. And he tried throwing the little skinny
slant.
The goal line slant. And which that guy just robbed perfectly.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
But other than that, man, he threw the beautiful pass to Lindsey on the deep bend, the deep over route in that game. Obviously, he calls an audible early in the game. So, talking about Tyler Buckner, boom, runs the quarterback power for the touchdown that got him on the board. He did a lot of good things.
He did, yeah. He had a great game for both teams. Sorry, I'm being Tim. Now I'm trolling.
Just didn't work out.
Yeah,
didn't work out.
One more. Which, for what it's worth, I haven't heard this in a while, but I was told that Buckner was hoping to get back to the quarterback room to put his name in the hat.
He is a quarterback, for crying out loud. He
throws to the receivers in practice when they're doing their indie drills, but
he's a quarterback. He's got more starts than the quarterback room combined at Notre Dame. He's got more yards than the quarterback room combined. So he's got a bowl game MVP, the only one in that quarterback room.
It shouldn't be, but I think Steve should have got the Sun Bowl MVP, but it's okay. Faison was a good choice. And Faison's got the really cool story as well, the walk-on and lacrosse player. But I get it. Anyways, Tim.
Like if Buckner comes in and wins that job.
If he starts against Miami, I'm not. Ooh, I'm not going to finish that sentence. I would obviously be absolutely shell-shocked and stunned. But could there be? Who knows, dude? Who knows?
If he just run, he could be Riley Leonard, just running quarterback ISOs and dumping the ball here and there.
Anyways, I got one more of Steve.
Hey, Riley threw some bad picks too, so
yeah. This is probably Steve's best throw. This is against Purdue.
Is this the Micah Gilbert?
A dime to a.
Was that Gilbert who dropped the ball? Like hits him in the chest?
I'm talking about this dime to Jaden Harrison.
Oh, okay. That's a great throw. But the other one that it's funny because his best passes have been a couple of guys drop that deep out route to the wide side on the right to KK Smith was awesome. It's like, catch the damn ball, buddy. Frustrating. No, he does. The slot fade is a staple of Notre Dame. It's a damn hard play to defend. It is, especially if you got a guy that can run like Notre Dame's had. But it's gonna be a fun battle. Just going back to because there hasn't been a lot of them. We talked about, is it a true 3-man race? I think that's hard. Divvy up 3 reps. especially when you got a true freshman who's there as well, which is really good. I really like that guy. So, he does a lot of good things. So how do you? Because you got to keep the freshman involved, right? You got to keep him a little happy. So how do you just divvy up some of those reps? It's going to be a fascinating spring. It's going to be a wild spring football. Yeah. We're expecting obviously Steve Angeli will go out there, the first T-shirt and shorts, and everyone's doing the stretches and all that stuff, and throwing the first routes. He's going to be the first one. And who's that guy on practice 8, practice 12? Those are the fun ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about this last week that I feel like this spring is going to be a little, I don't know if disjointed is the word that works or is accurate, but you're getting Notre Dame is just such a late start because of how deep the season went. And I don't say anything about, well, every team is dealing with this. They're not. There's 2. It's Notre Dame and Ohio State. The season went to January 20th. That's the latest we've obviously ever had. So everything just got pushed back, and then the coaches go on the road to recruit. So you play in the national championship game. You come back to South Bend. Okay, portal time. You deal with the portal.
Junior
NIL deals.
Junior
Day on the 25th. Coaches are on the road. Coaches go on vacation. Coaches came back. Is it last week or the week before or something? And spring ball it's an abbreviated period. They have more back-to-back days than I feel like I've seen. It was often Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. It's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, things like that. From what I've been told about the spring schedule. So real quick before I throw it back to you, Tim, I just feel like with all that being said, and you're going to have disjointed in the sense that a lot of your top players recovering from injury are injured, phase on playing another sport. I feel like it's probably most comfortable for Notre Dame to have Steve, who is more of your veteran guy at the quarterback position, to be getting most of the first team reps and kind of doing that leadership role. You said earlier, who knows? We don't know. And who knows what's going to happen in spring practice? It's a huge variable, but I just feel like it's going to be Steve, Tim. Just feel like it will be. And that I love all of the quarterbacks. I had a great time covering all of them. Kenny, CJ, Steve, Blake Hebert, heck, Anthony Rizak. I'm a huge fan of that family. I haven't said this on the show before. The Rizaks, right? They have 2 at Notre Dame. I have a blanket downstairs that says Baby Singer on it. The Rizak sent me that. Amazing, amazing people. They're all great people. I'm rooting for all of them. I know, Singer, you just love Steve. Yeah, of course I love Steve. I really love all of these guys. I would be happy if any of them start, because they went out and earned it. But a long way to say, I still think Steve's the favorite. And that's where I land.
No, I feel you. And then going back to the spring thing, you still had a lot of old guys playing. So you still got we talked about this a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago, or you're on vacation 2 weeks, maybe it was last week, where we talked about you still got a lot of young guys. I mean, there's still competition in spots for spring ball. So it's not like they were banging heads that entire month of January and practice and running power O drills and beating the hell out of each other. Yeah, I mean, there's a recovery period for certain individuals, but more than half this football team sat and watched. So this is their spring to develop and to get going. And you mentioned Ohio State. Hell, 90% of their team's going to the NFL, so they're starting from scratch. So who gives a damn, right? And they got a quarterback battle where Julian Saint's probably going to win that as a redshirt freshman. So spring ball is still important. Because you're still you got to build your depth. That's one thing Sider talked about, which I love. That's one of my coaching slogans is build depth, build depth. Yeah, he was talking about that, always making sure your backups are in, because you never know. You just never know. I say it all the time. The stupid belt buckle is true. I had a kid broke his belt buckle starting Mike Backer. I'm like, are you kidding me? Freaking belt buckle. All right, little Billy's in next. Well, you got to make sure little Billy's prepared to go in and play Mike Backer. So there are a bunch of those guys. Like we saw the picture of Sneed. He's been 3 years as a backup, a niche player, a little role player, play a little dime backer, dime DN. It's year 4 for him. How's he starting to develop in these things? Offensive line, I know people love to say, well, the starter, they all got beat out. They got 56 starts left. I don't, if Pat Coogan wanted to come back, they're bringing him back. They didn't throw him to the wolves. You know what I mean? So there's still a bunch of bodies out there. Sam Pendleton left. He's still young. He's only a redshirt freshman with 7 starts. So there's still some of these young guys. What I'm trying to say is some of these young guys behind the experience that they need practice. So I think spring ball is vital.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're as tired and beat up as perception is, except for a couple guys. Sure. Love, without a doubt. Beat up, get your rest. Jagasol, obviously still coming back, let's say, from an injury, even though he started playing a little bit. I'm sure he's a little sore because he didn't play for 15 weeks until the playoffs. So
yeah,
there's a handful of those, but it's got to be an aggressive. I love the schedule because the schedule's an old school schedule. You're going in, you're getting your work done so we can hit the road recruiting. Yeah. So I kind of like it.
Yeah, we'll have to circle back on that, like after the first practice, which shit, Tim.
It's in a couple
2
weeks. 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, so pot of gold and then in practice, I think, something like that. So we'll have to. I think it might be on a Tuesday. So we'll get Horka. We'll get get Horka on here, and we'll do a big spring preview type show, Tim. We'll talk about that, and of course, Tim and I aren't going to practices. I don't think I'm going to go hit a practice this year, so we're not going to. We'll talk about the news to come out of practice, but we'll rely on getting Horka and Sobel and maybe Kyle Kelly on the show and talk to them and react to what they have to say in some of the videos and reports coming out of practice and whatnot. But going back to my original thought, who is limited? I'll be really interested to hear about that. Like going back to my original point of that, because I feel like it might be a little bit more. Maybe they keep it in-house, they don't really share it, but I think there's going to be some guys limited of that star power potential, of that star power variety.
I will, since I'm a football nerd, I love football. I was up late last night, and guess who started spring football yesterday? Roll Tide. So I'm sitting there last night. Your buddy Henderson, who runs the big Alabama page.
Yeah,
I know you've mentioned him in the past. So,
of course.
Does great job breaking things down. Great YouTube page and showing highlights. Heck, the board came out. They have he's sitting out 8 dudes. So going to your point, Mike, they play January 1st, but he's like, no, these 8 guys are just like rested injuries, couple, body things. You just take a rest and all that. They're really, really focusing on young guys. So I found that interesting. We know who our starters are. Our left tackle's coming back. He's playing. Speaking of that, Proctor, they're going to sit out all spring. So they got a handful of bodies where all their young guys transfers. You're going to go through the nuts and bolts of spring ball and build depth, see who we have, get ready for the summer. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a handful of Notre Dame guys that fit that mold. But I keep going back to they're still young. Drake Bowen's still developing. KVA's developing. Your defensive line is still a massive huge work in progress on the interior. I mean, you could rest a Louisville guy because he's got tons of battle scars, but Bryce Young is a baby deer. I mean, Bryce Young didn't really do much at DN. He had one great pass rush move. Was that Georgia or Penn State? Other than that, you never really saw too much of a pass rush out of him. So he's got to develop. Burnham, on and on and on. So Madden Fermo, a freshman. There's going to be a lot of young guys. I think that's what's exciting. That's what we start thinking of all these young guys. And hell, Mike, how many DBs are here? 3 or 4 showed up, correct? Out of that great DB class.
Yeah, a lot of early enrollees. Blair, I think is Cree. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Ethan Young was part of the bowl prep.
Right? Long, Ethan Long. Yep, he was there. So it's a really good DB class.
Yeah, so that's exciting. I'm just trying to stay positive instead of worrying about the if guys are out. Always about the future, and that's
for sure.
Spring ball
for sure. Yeah, it almost feels like spring ball is kind of sounding like NFL preseason, where it's like, oh yeah, just rest all your guys and let the young guys battle out for the roster spots. Like that's the vibe I got when you were talking. But
But I guess still the old school mindset is it's still important because it's those young guys' development. It's basically OTAs for the NFL.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
exactly. You got to look at it like OTAs for the young guys. But as far as being a little bit tired, a little bit sore, Notre Dame ain't going this far each and every year. So enjoy it while you can. You and I may be talking about, wow, man, they haven't played in 3 months. That Gator, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. If they're in the Pop-Tarts, you and I are doing a show from the game.
Where is the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
Orlando. Every bowl in Orlando and San Diego, it feels like. So
is that Camping World?
Yeah,
I think it's Camping
World.
Whatever
it is. Yeah, so we'll do that. So we gotta enjoy it as it comes. And you've heard Freeman, obviously, Laura Landell, the strength coach who's been around the NFL. You got to believe the more they went, the longer they went, the more they rested guys and probably were thinking about this spring ball, this spring practice way back in December and January.
All right, I want to move along and discuss Chris Ash, Tim, and he met with the media. Him and Juwan Sider did last week, and I thought he had a really interesting quote, Tim. A couple of them. This was on his general defensive approach at Notre Dame. He said, "If it's not broke, don't fix it." And that was really the conversation that Coach Freeman and I had about this situation. There's been really good football played on defense. There's been standards. There's been accountability. They've been well coached. Conceptually, we're going to keep doing a lot of the same things that have been done here. Terminology may change a little bit. Some fundamentals may change a little bit. But at the end of the day, the way Notre Dame has played defense is the way Notre Dame is going to play defense in the future. And then he talked about it again, being asked how his defense will evolve with the sport that's changed since he last coached in college. What the hell kind of question is that? He was just coaching for like 4 or 5 years ago in college, right? Was Texas his last spot? Anyways.
That's 1978 for crying out loud.
It's not like, I haven't seen the forward pass. Come on. He said, this isn't about my defense. This is about the Notre Dame defense. We're going to continue to do things that Notre Dame has done on defense. So continuity, Tim. This is a very Al Golden 2.0 kind of hire. Like it was about enhancing, right? And not like let's start over. Like I think Freeman wanted Ash because of probably this. Like replace. You're going to replace him with someone very similar and maybe even like enhance it to like maybe it could be even better than Al Golden. I've heard really, really good things about Chris Ash. Really, really good things about Chris Ash and his first few weeks on the job. So I wanted your take on this quote, Tim, from Chris Ash. Do you like that? And do you think that was a good move by Freeman to hire someone who is going to kind of keep the continuity?
Yeah, I mean, when in the whole Al Golden left, we talked about one of the things he mentions, and I even went back and rewatched Al Golden's press conference when he got introduced, talking about Notre Dame's defense. It's not just mine. Freeman was playing good D. Clark Lee was playing good D. Mike Elko. So many of the principles that started in 2017 are still around today. Number one, D-line rotation. Notre Dame did not rotate like a hockey game. They started that a ton in 17, and it's a staple of this program. The Rover came in. The Rover's been around since 2017. It's not going away. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed his press conference. I thought it was really good. I thought he had a lot of good things to say. You could say coach speak, but every damn press conference is coach speak. Go back and rewatch Freeman's when he got hired, coach speak. So that's what coaches do. Hype up and roll from there. But his experience, been around the block. What I liked is the fact that he says, yeah, I've known Mike Mickens a long time. And it's like, well, no, duh. He coached with Luke Fickell. Him and Fickell are buddies. Who did Fickell hire? Mickens, Free. You know what I mean? There's this whole tree going back to the Sider. Sider and Parker are best friends. Well, hell, so is Marcus Freeman. So, you know what I mean? It's all these little coaching circles of these guys knowing each other. So that's one of the things I took away, where he says, yeah, Mickens and I have been meeting for a long time, have known each other. So that was a no-brainer there. So I really like that. I like the fact that he's been around the block. He's failed. He's had success. Scars in coaching matter so much, where you failed and you've had success. And he's obviously tasted that. He's got a national championship. I talked about the people always like to bring up, well, they were like 80th in total defense at Texas. Yeah, but they're also 29th in yards per play. Notre Dame goes to the playoffs with Clark Lee, who gets an SEC job off that 2020 D. They were in the 50s. So his yards per play D at Texas was better than Notre Dame. He went to the playoffs. So do the math, figure that out, right? I don't know. I like him. I love the NFL experience. I really enjoyed his press conference. And I think Mark Freeman has a plan of what he wants. And that's why he called him right away. This is not some 2-week interview. You know what I mean? He was on his short list, right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I think that says a lot about Freeman.
Okay, I love everything you just said, Tim. I do want to address specifically he's not coming in and overhauling the defense.
Well, there's no need to overhaul. Al Golden, it's going back to Freeman. Freeman, everyone's going to do a couple tweaks, whatever those are. I mean, I'm a simpleton at D. There's 11 dudes. You got to find 11 dudes to cover up gaps, and you got to find, who the hell's covering the 5 eligible receivers. That's defense. So he's not going to come in and run Bob Diaco's, 3-4 and play quarters and cover 2 every single snap, keep everything in front of you. No, Notre Dame's got guys to run, got guys to cover. They got pass rushers. They got an army of linebackers. So no, I'm not expecting, mass changes. Golden changed over the years, over the, his whole 3-year period. He did things in 22. He got rid of,
such as.
They didn't call the damn double safety blitz. That's for sure. So you didn't see DBs blitzing from 20 yards away anymore. Thank you. They got rid of that damn thing. But they played with 11 on the field this whole entire season, Mike, on D. So how's that for one, right? So yeah, things changed under Al Golden. But no, I mean they just kept playing more man.
Yeah, a lot more man this year.
A lot more man because they played more man because it was year 3. And you had Xavier Watts, and you had these older guys that could disguise coverages and have been in the system. I think that was a big thing, the communication back there. So I think Ash is going to do that. His experience as a DB coach is huge with the concepts they want to run. But yeah, there's nothing to throw out, change, other than maybe double cover the best wide receiver in the country and not put a Gray 5 yards inside eye and let Smith run free. Maybe change that. But no, I'm not expecting giant changes. We're going to still see a 4-man front, probably going to still see the Viper, which is the boundary stand-up end, still going to see nickel and dime. These are all things really Freeman did. Clark Lee did it a bunch as well. Remember I used to call it the Bo Bauer package. The Bo Power package, that all started under when they had Jack Lamb out of Marietta Valley, who played for Notre Dame back in Clark Lee. You saw Jack Lamb come in before his injury bug hit. He was the Bauer. He was the Sneed of that hybrid, that dime D that they run. So all those things are gonna keep moving forward and keep having a damn good defense because players make a D and they got players.
Well, I like it. Good stuff, Tim. Let me just make a note on a timestamp. Coming to an article near you. Last topic, Mr. Hyde. Actually, we got 2 more, so let's go through these quick.
All right, good.
Circa Sports odds to win college football playoff title. Notre Dame 15-1. So Ohio State and Texas best odds at 5-1. Okay. Georgia 6.5-1. Oregon 7-1. Penn State 7.5-1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Notre Dame's tied for 6th best odds to win the college football playoff title. Tim, what's your reaction to this?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, definitely top 10. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. The Ohio State is fast because Ohio State, man, they really did lose a lot of football players.
Yeah.
They really did lose a lot of football players. Their offensive line is going to be brand new. They lost a ton. A lot of bodies, man. They may have 15 guys get drafted. So I know it's the Buckeyes. They're going to have, well, actually, they start, Mike, by the way, that's game 1 for crying out loud, isn't it? Ohio State, Texas. I think they opened the season, those two. So we're going to find out right there. I've told you my prediction is Texas is going to be preseason number 1. Georgia's got a lot of good football players. Oregon, Penn State, Notre Dame. That's my preseason top 5.
So now you're saying I thought you said Penn State before.
Penn State's going to be, I'm telling you guys, people hate it. Penn State's going to be a preseason number 3. They got 4 offensive linemen back, 2,000-yard running backs back, a quarterback coming back. They got a really good wide receiver from USC transferred in after, no wide receivers caught a pass. I know Tyler Warren. I was reading. That's why I got excited about the backup tight ends at Penn State are freaks. They're NFL guys.
Yeah.
They lost Abdul Carter, but they got, oh my God, Dennis Sutton. That guy's unbelievable. Both D tackles are coming back. One was going to go pro. He came back. Their middle linebacker left, but the next 3 on the depth chart are all back. Penn State's going to be a preseason top 3. They just are.
If I had to say who would be like a spicy bet that I think as really good value, it's Clemson 20 to 1.
Oh yeah, man. Clemson's got Bill Connolly on S&P Plus for ESPN comes out. I want to say Clemson's the number 1 returning production team in the country.
Over Penn State, which is crazy. So yeah.
Clemson's loaded with bodies and lots of freshmen, and they get 5 stars. So some of their dudes are starting to rise up. Every wide receiver's back. Klubnik's a senior. How nice would that have been? Klubnik throwing the great house, but oh well, life happens, right? That would have been nice. But he's got some wide receivers. Clemson's going to be, they're definitely the preseason ACC favorite.
All right, let's wrap up with a little Riley Leonard talk. Let's look at some of his combine highlights.
Yeah, solid. I'll be honest with you. It's Notre Dame, I guess, right?
Tim, that delivery up close and personal.
Right? He's a gamer. He's a competitor.
He's a gamer.
He's all these group.
Yeah, it's not
Riley Leonard gets. I'll say it right now. I don't think he gets drafted.
Really?
I don't think he's an NFL.
He's gonna get drafted.
He doesn't have to.
He's going to. I'm telling you, he's going to. There's been enough Josh Allen. People talk about Josh Allen as much with Riley Leonard that there's 32 teams. Someone's gonna be like, well, what if he is Josh Allen?
Josh Allen? Where's that from?
I just see that on Twitter. People are like, oh, player comps. Colin Cowherd's throwing it out there like, it's Cowherd. I know, but he
likes those Notre Dame. He likes that because these Notre Dame fans react to everything. So, I bet GMs will find that 5th DB over Riley Leonard. They'll find a D lineman to put on the practice squad and whatnot.
I'll bet you a Coca-Cola, Tim, that Riley Leonard gets drafted.
I'll send you a Taco Bell gift card. All right. I was telling Jack Cohn didn't get drafted, and Jack Cohn could throw the football. Jack Cohn's that NFL backup.
If he doesn't get drafted, Tim, I will send you a Taco Bell gift card.
I like that. Someone says Hill's the BYU guy. Hill was unbelievable at BYU. He could throw that thing 70 yards and run quarterback ISO all day long. The NFL is a throwing league. Riley Leonard's not a thrower. So
I don't know, but there's just something to him and the championship run that everyone saw. I think I could see like 6th round. I could see it, especially in a not great quarterback class.
Yeah, it's not a great class. It's just not. But it's a throwing league, and the quarterbacks that get drafted could sling it. That's what I see. So, and if a GM has got Riley Leonard on the board, do we take a gamble on him to make the practice squad, or do we take this backup nickel out of Appalachian State? Man, NFL will, that's what they do. That's what they think about. So, I will say right now, he won't get drafted. You got him going 6th round. So there you go.
Well, I said I could see it.
Okay, well, I mean, you can see it. So we're going 6, and I'm going free agent.
No. I said drafted. You said free agent.
Yeah, drafted. So you
could go in the 7th round, and I'm still.
Yeah. I owe you a Coca-Cola if he's in the 7th round. There you go.
Okay. No, it's a $10 Taco Bell gift card. That's what it is, my friend.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I think I got one for Christmas, so I'll send you. We'll read it. So there you go.
Who hates you enough to do that? All right, that is going to wrap up today's show. Tim, actually, I need a one-word response from you.
Sure. What do you got?
The headline. Who should start week 1 versus Miami? One-word response. That's all I want.
Carr.
Carr. Who should start Carr?
Carr, 25, 26. A boatload of these players will be back in 26. Keep it rolling.
There you have it, folks. I just had to make sure we answered the question directly in the headline of the video podcast. So, folks, I really do appreciate you tuning in. Hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. If you're watching live on YouTube and you just tuned in, rewind, watch in the beginning. Had a lot of great stuff. Tim brought it today. If you're watching back, please let us know some of your thoughts in the comments. I always read them. So if you weren't with us live and you want to tell me something, Tim responds to a lot of them as well. I do.
Seriously, I love the comments. If someone takes time to comment and chat with us, man, I can't tell you how awesome and I mean, I appreciate it. Someone's willing to watch our show and comment on one of our things, man. Nothing but respect. So I respect everybody.
The live viewers are usually a lot more friendly than the people who watch it back. I will say that. A lot more shade. Anyways, we're going to end the show there, folks. Again, hit the thumbs up if you have not done so yet, and we'll catch you next time.